What's going on, everybody? JHow here, and in this video we're going to talk about some Apex Legends tips. Whether you're just getting started, whether you're new to BRs, or whether you've played a little, we're going to cover some of the best tips. I'm going to give you the no-nonsense. This is the tips that can get you started. Maybe some you do know, maybe some you don't know. Also, feel free, if you are familiar with the game, to leave some extra tips in the comments to help out those newer members. So let's get into them. First, let's talk about a few things related to mobility. Quite simply, holster your weapons. You'll run faster. You want to run faster. You get to and from point A to point B faster. You can also evade danger faster. It's just a very safe way to play. However, if you are entering a danger zone, simply pull out a weapon and then start sprinting again. Just simply holstering your weapons, you can do a lot. Always try and run while holstering, if you can, or if it's the right moment, which generally it is. Another cool thing with mobility in this game that varies from other games is that you can scale walls, and you can actually scale them pretty far. Basically, you're going to jump up to a wall and hold your jump button, or your spacebar, depending on where you're playing. All you have to do is simply climb onto a wall. You can climb in one area, you can climb up to another, and next thing you know, you're scaling like you're Hanzo in this game. Another neat trick is that once you get to the top, you can actually let go of that jump button, and your character will actually hang on the top, allowing you to peek over. It's one thing a lot of people don't make use out of, because you're simply trying to get from one place to another, but it can help you scout out an area simply by hanging on. Now, it's covered in the tutorial right out of the gate, but sliding down hills is oftentimes a quicker way to get somewhere. If you're on any type of slope, you want to make use of just crouching while sprinting so that you can slide. Another cool thing that you can do is if you are under fire and you're trying to slide and you're on what seems like a mountain, all you have to do is slide. You can use other things while you're sliding. I've seen different people use it as a way to escape, but also to heal up or shield up at the same time. You can do all kinds of things while sliding. Make good use of it. There's also a lot of other tricks around sliding, like sliding off the edges of structures or buildings and just using that to get to another place quicker. You can also do it to scale different distances from building to building. So if you're going from one rooftop to another and it looks like you can't quite reach it, simply just sprint, slide, and jump off right at the edge, and then hold that jump key for when you get to the other wall, and next thing you know, you're scaling a wall that you maybe didn't think that you could before. If you're still trying to figure out how people are getting to a location before you do when you're dropping, then you might be doing it wrong. A user on Reddit during the release put out a very simple diagram, and it's right here on the screen. If you're going in a straight line, you're doing it wrong. Somehow the physics, they're just different. You can see you need to drop, you need to glide, drop, glide, drop. And that's pretty much it. If you're wondering why you see people doing what looks like almost like a dolphin mechanic or some way that they're trying to do it, they're probably going to get there faster. Speaking of dropping, one thing that you need to do is when you're in a group, you don't want to all drop in the exact same spot. You're basically all fighting for loot. If you are dropping in a hot zone, you want to stay relatively close. But we all know that getting a gun first generally means that you're going to be more favored in that upcoming duel. You'll save your teammates a lot of headaches. You can simply split off. Another thing is you actually get extra speed when you split off. Don't try and go too far away from your teammates unless that's planned or your team knows what they're doing. But generally, splitting off before you land is going to help you get somewhere faster. And if the name of the game is get somewhere faster to get a gun faster than the enemy team, you can see where we're going with this. One of the best things about Apex Legends is there's no fall damage. You can jump from any height and you're going to be just fine. There's no fall damage, so go ahead and jump to your heart's content. There'll be a minor slow if you jump from a great distance, but that's pretty much negligible considering the availability you have to get around the map. The one thing that everybody continues to praise in this game is the ping system. You're going to be in groups of 3, and if you're not playing with a full group, then communication is paramount in this game. Not everybody likes to use a mic, and sometimes a mic isn't even necessary. The ping system is so good in this game that it should basically be at the top of everybody's list in terms of their favorite features. There's the wheel that you can use to ping different things to communicate, but simply using your ping to communicate whether there's a gun, whether you have different attachments nearby. You can also open your inventory. You can ping your ammo. You can essentially ping anything. You can ping that you need sights. You can ping whatever it is that you have in this game. You can also ping a location. If you're with a team and a teammate pings a location, you can actually look at the location and ping what they did to confirm that you've heard what they said. The same for items. Somebody pings it, you can ping what they ping to give them a verbal communication. It's just so good. There are so many different ways to use pings in this game that you don't even have to use a mic. Using a mic is great, but we all know that not everybody is ready to sit around and talk on a mic all night. So just simply having this ping system available will basically make this game far easier for you the more you use it. A few things when it comes to items is your grenades. The grenades are on a 4-second cooldown from the moment you toss it, meaning that if you throw it at a short distance, it's going to take 4 seconds for it to explode. However, if you're throwing it a far distance, that gives the enemy team less time to respond to it. So if you are at distance, then throwing those grenades in might actually be better. Yes, you can zone out an area by throwing it, but overall there's different ways to use that. Also, if you knock somebody at distance, instead of continuing to use maybe precious bullets that you don't have a lot of, or you know that their teammate is somewhere nearby and you don't want to walk in, simply throw a grenade to where they were. You can pretty much kill them depending on their knock shield, and you can really try and just eliminate them without ever having to go into melee range or use bullets or risk your safety. Let's talk about a few things that UI-wise will help you understand what you're doing in some combat. Let's talk about a couple of damage identifiers, because these will help you determine what type of fight you might be engaging in. Getting red shots means that you're hitting somebody without armor. Getting a yellow shot when you hit the head is when you're getting those headshots. That way you know whether you're hitting the body or the head. But the body shots can actually vary in color. Red means they don't have armor. White means they have level 1 armor. When you hit and you hear that sound, you're seeing that blue light up. That means that you're hitting a level 2, and then purple means level 3. That way you know what type of fight you're getting into. If you have level 1 armor and they have level 3 or potentially level 4 with that gold armor, and then you're all of a sudden like, is this a trade that I can go into? Because now you know that they have an advantage at the beginning. You don't necessarily know how much armor they might have left on that body armor, which is why there's an audible sound of the glass crashing whenever you break that armor. Breaking that armor is a good indicator on whether you can continue to engage, whether they're ready to be finished, and whether you can find different ways to just say, all right, now it's time to go. Having these different indicators give you a lot of information in a fight right away. Just knowing what color you're hitting is going to help out quite a bit when you start that skirmish. And speaking of which, if you manage to take those characters down, then when you eliminate them, not knock them, but when you eliminate them or the entire squad, the boxes on the ground basically will be color-coded as well. They are telling you the highest item in that box is going to be the gold, purple, blue, or white. It could just be that plain color, but that tells you what type of rarity of item is in that box. Just because it's gold doesn't necessarily mean that you're going in there for gold armor or a gold helm, which we'll get to in a second. It could simply mean that it's just an attachment, maybe a turbocharger, and there's a devotion in there. It will simply be based off of that. One of my favorite things is the attachments. The attachments will automatically transfer to new weapons if you replace your current weapon, barring they still use those attachments. Also, if you have a scope that you want to use, you don't have to click and drag it over. You can simply right-click it in your inventory and it will send it to your other gun. Again, barring they can use it. The same can be said with other attachments that go into the game, and so make sure and use some of those quick keys that you can use. Speaking of the UI, don't pick up ammo you don't need or it doesn't work from your gun. You'll know over time because everything is easily color-coded, but if you're just getting used to the game and you see green ammo and you're holding a shotgun and a light ammo gun, then you don't need it. The UI will actually have a red circle at the top left of it with a line through it, basically saying you can't use this. Same for attachments, unless you're planning on picking up a different gun later, which if you have backpack space, then by all means go for it. But if you're looking to pick up a gun later, this is something you can do. I love a wingman, I love a Spitfire, so I might actually hold on to some heavy ammo. However, depending on the circumstances, it might be taking up crucial things like shield cells, shield batteries, or a Phoenix kit. So make sure you balance and manage your inventory appropriately. Don't carry around things you don't need. If you pick up extended mags that are purple, but it's for a gun you don't have, you can always just ping it for your teammates. See if they need it. If not, simply move on. Pretend your Lifeline as your best friend. Lifeline will help you heal, uses items quicker, can help drop down a shield to make sure and revive you, but also has the airdrops. Feeding them ultimate accelerants is probably the only person in the game currently that needs those. You want those airdrops to be able to get higher tier loot potentially on that airdrop. So feed your Lifeline all the ultimate accelerants. Unless you're just having some fun with some things that you do, always the Lifeline. Always. Look, there's a lot of tips that go on. These are simply some starter tips to get things going. Maybe you knew about them, maybe you didn't. But if you're new to the game or still learning about the game, hopefully these helped you. Don't forget that there could be a lot of tips in the comments. This is the best thing about a new game, and something that we're all enjoying, is that you have a community to help build the tips and tricks and continue to go. I'll put together some more videos in the future based around certain characters or different advanced tips that come in. So make sure if you want to see more Apex Legends content, then be sure and subscribe. Also, if you found this video useful in any way or you want to help other people, be sure and share this video or hit that like button as well, because that is always appreciated. And I appreciate you guys watching. Till next time, happy hunting. See you again.